morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. You know, I had to say something this morning about the poor people. Poor people are going through changes in this country. So we can understand how the poor people of less fortunate countries are going through trials and tribulations, perhaps magnified several times beyond that which we incur. And so I find out that though I have been speaking for years and years and years about poverty and getting rid of it, it seems as if it's going through ears that have no way of understanding what is being said. Even the poor don't understand what is being said. And when I say that, I mean that it's one thing to announce a situation, it's another thing to talk about what has to be done to change that situation, and it's another thing to get people to do it. But I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say this, and I want to separate mankind from God. Mankind has a way of treating people as if they can make a distinction. Specifically what I say, mankind says that there are certain people who are superior to others. Mankind says there's a blood lineage from mankind, certain mankind, to the higher power, God. The blood of Jesus Christ flows down through the blood of some other people who call themselves superior. And if that's the case, Jesus said he came to serve, so what about all these other people with this lineage, this blood? They are not serving, they are being served. So, to make a long story short, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't want to bore you, this is what I'm saying. God is not like man. Man will get a woman pregnant and just to enjoy himself. And as soon as he finds out the woman is pregnant, then he feels that, there's some responsibility. He will run and leave the woman with the child alone. Chances are she will be in a situation where it's very difficult to raise this kid. And so poverty is really growing right there. Now, when mankind is running this thing, aside from making himself God, superior, so what good is being superior if you don't have anyone that's inferior? So you create your inferiority groups. And what difference is an inferiority group if it has everything that the superior group has? So you got to separate the two. One got to have and the other has got to be without. That's man. I'm talking to white folks and black folks. I'm talking to men and women. I'm talking to Americans and people all over the world. This is the way it is. Some people set it up and say this is a capitalist system. Some say this is a communist system. Some say this is a socialist system. Some say this is a dictatorship. And whatever else you want to name it. But they all come out the same. The haves and the have-nots. Now, one good piece of news, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Creator didn't make it that way. The Creator made it so that everybody could have their dreams come true. And he did it in such a way that no human being could claim anything that God made as their own. You can't claim the land as your own. You can't claim the water as your own. You can't claim the grass as your own. You can't claim the hills, the rocks, the gold, the diamond, the steel, the oil, the gas, whatever exists by God's hand only. No human being can claim as their own. And this was done specifically so that no human being would be able to claim it as their own. The only way that you could do it is to rob, abuse, and steal from other people, or work it out the way it's supposed to be worked out. We are not working it out the way it's supposed to be worked out. The poor exist all over the world, and nobody is trying to end poverty. They're just trying to make sure they don't get in it. And if they got to take from the poor to get more to assure them that they don't ever get down there, they will do it. More specifically, I'm speaking about America today. Poor people can't pay their rent. Poor people living from paycheck to paycheck. Poor people can't put food on the table. Poor people can't clothe their kids and send them to school. Poor people can't send their kids to school. Poor people can't pay co-payment at doctor's state. Poor people can't pay doctor's bill. Poor people can't put gas in their cars. Poor people can't get their cars repaired. Poor people can't get their lights fixed on their cars. Poor people can't get their electric turned on in the houses. Now, or if they got a house. Now, how good does that sound? That sounds like it's sick. But man says that that's because you are inferior, you ain't got no sense, and you put yourself in that boat. He told you to lift yourself up by your bootstraps. He looked down there and found that you were bare feet. And he blamed that on you. That's what man did. God says everything is set up so it will work for everyone. And if it does not work for everyone, it means that somebody is trying to do it to somebody, and somebody is taking it. The Lord God Almighty says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." That means what I have designed for you is what you settle for, and you settle for nothing less. Now, there's a story in the Bible that says Jesus Christ, caught up in a situation like this, allowed them to take him to the cross and kill him. Well, this is what will happen to you if you get caught up in a situation where you can't handle it. They will take you to the cross and kill you. But if you can get out of that situation by doing right to prevent yourself from being killed, do it. Because for those who tell you Jesus walked on to that cross and killed himself, so you doing right, you just walk onto the cross and kill yourself. That sounds like a trick of the enemy to get you to just put down your God and let him be God, and you just take whatever he gives or does to you. That doesn't sound smart. Now somebody say, "Well, Jesus rose from the cross again." Well, he rose for the people back there. They saw him. The people up here didn't see him. So based upon all the lies and all the stuff that we've grown up to recognize that is eminent and evidence in the lives of humankind, we don't have to believe that. And nobody's going to punish us because we didn't believe that. If we were going to be punished, if it was so essential, it should have been imprinted on our mind. We never forgot. So what I'm saying to you, poor people, you are poor because you're foolish. You are poor because you've been lied to. You are poor because you've been tricked. You are poor because you are foolish. You are foolish because you bought that stuff from the superior people. They won the wars, they wrote the books, they told the lies, they conceived you, and it is terribly messed up. Now what I see is a world where some people are got and other people don't. I see a world that should be fucked up. I see a world that should be in turmoil. There should be no peace in a world that people are abusing others. Those who are on the side of the abuser, when you recognize you're abusing, you should stop. Those of you who are being abused, once you recognize, you should stop accepting it. And you should stand up to do whatever would allow you to be free to receive what God has done for you. Do nobody wrong. Do no one harm. But make sure they don't do it to you. So, I'm saying to all Americans, I'm saying to people all over the world, here in America today, we have evidence. We have people who are in power, supposedly put there by the people. What I'm saying, you got a Congress, you got a president, you got all these people supposedly working for you. Now they got you so confused that you at odds with one another, so they can go into power and do what they want to do by standing up, lying, and feeding one side, and those lies feeding another side. Got you at odds with one another. And right now, people are working and not getting paid. Now you know that got to be a stark naked fool that's going to work. They're not giving him a check and telling him that some got to stay working and might not receive back pay. This is an indication to you, the people who are in these states and in these cities and in these towns. These are the results when you have representatives who are using a system to abuse you, they're not thinking about you. Donald Trump sits him in his office talking about a wall that Mexico was going to pay for with his lying ass. And now Mexico said, then call him and said, that's what you are, a lying ass. Now you're going to turn around to the American people and say, I'm going to shut this country down until you pay for it. Until you pay for it. It's going to be paid for. And he got a whole bunch of people who believing in his lies, who were shouting them, Mexico gonna pay for it. Now they're saying, we gonna pay for it. And they're sitting at home not even receiving any checks. They are so outwit by a lying, those who have. Trump had a plane. Trump said he had millions and billions of dollars. And nobody verified whether he did or didn't. They were just so happy that he was different than those who said, I got to get my money from you. He says he didn't need it. And now you're at home, those red states, suffering like you never thought you would. But I'm saying to you who are suffering everywhere, all over America, the fact that Trump goes to work, talking that stuff, everybody knows he wants to be big like Putin. He wants to be a dictator running the world. You know, he's too big. He's the smartest man on earth. He got the biggest mind on earth. He can recall more than anybody else on earth. He is the smartest with the best grades on earth. And that's why he's able to keep his tax returns when everybody else got to give them. He ain't got to give them. He can do what he want to do because the mind is so weak. The white people mind, especially the ones who want to stay on top as being superior, they submit to all of these lies just trying to stay on top. But I'm telling the people at the bottom, you will stay at that bottom, and God will let you stay at that bottom as long as you choose that as being your place. You want to come up, stand up. You want to come up, stand up. You go to the gas pump this morning trying to get to a job. Man in front of you, filling the tank full of gas, cost about $45, $50. He moved, you waiting for him to move. You go ahead and get $3 worth. And he walks away smiling, you walk away complaining. It's time we stop this and stop thinking that the church gonna help you. I promise you that that church is not gonna do nothing. When I got my call, I was told that everything that I talk about would be backed up by the church because I talk about nothing that's not backed up by scripture. I talk about nothing that's not backed up by. So when I stand here and tell the world about prosperity and happiness and joy for everybody, hey, I had the whole thousands and thousands of different denominations supporting me. I've done this since about 36 years straight, and not one church has stood up, but they stand up behind Trump. They stand up behind the systems that exist. Nobody's out there telling the people, preaching wise, that this God didn't make the system to act like this. Nobody's telling the people that God is saying if you fed up with it, you don't like it, don't take it, then don't take it. That the truth will be with you, the truth will guide you. We're not doing any of that. And right now it's cold as can be in Minnesota. Next week it's going to be snowing. Old folks not going to be able to get out of their yards because the system doesn't care about them. All of you people in Minnesota, Mississippi, 47 other different states, I want you to know that the powers that be do not give a damn about you no more than they can use you. Only what they can use you for is what they care about. The fact that your kids can't do this, the fact that there's no food on your table, they don't give a stink. All they want is a little bit more power to control and manipulate you a little bit more. You gave it to Trump, and you see Trump is trying to turn you into a dictator. You're looking, now you got all these people talking about make America number one on the front stage again. How? None of them telling you how they're going to do it. Everybody just saying, I'm going to do this. Everybody trying to say one thing better than what the next one said. And nobody's saying what they're going to do. And I stand up constantly for 36 years telling you what I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't care what anybody says. There's not but one way to peace and prosperity and happiness on earth. And that is that you do unto others as you'd have others to do unto you. There's no way under the sun it can happen, nor should it happen. Nor should it happen. When you move the grass off the hill and it rains, the mud flows. So when you stop protecting people by sharing the love of God with them, you like move the grass out of the way and the rain is coming down. That's the pain and suffering they have to go through. And it should come down on all of that which is solid, which is those who got, should be covered up in mud from those who don't have. So I'm telling you this, ladies and gentlemen, so we can stop acting fools. Nobody give a heck about you being poor. Nobody gives a darn about you being poor. Why? Because you don't care. You got the Me Too movement. People out there talking about what's going on, and what have they succeeded in doing? Putting a few people in jail, not stopping action, or putting themselves on the top of the stage. That's not stopping the action. What did the 99% do? They were talking about all the other stuff that that is above them, 1%. And they are talking 99%. What was it able to achieve? Not one dead blasted thing. Every now and then you might hear somebody say something about 99%. 99% of the population of the United States of America ought to be ashamed. They should go in, if they got a bed, get in it and put the pillow over their heads, because you have acted just like a monkey. You haven't achieved a dog blasted thing. And those of you who are saying Black Lives Matter and people who stand up with them, what the heck are you doing? The cops stealing, killing people, and you sitting up there talking about a march. Is that stopping anything? No, my friends. It's not going to be the one thing that's going to stop stuff, and that's justice. I'm talking about justice from the top. Justice for all the people in the land. Justice for everybody. People treated right. People respected one another. Until you can do that, you're going to have hell on earth. Hell on earth. And I'm not going to tell you anything sweet. I'm not going to try to tell you something to stroke you, make you feel good. You should feel like you got to go to the bathroom and you constipated and got hemorrhoids. That's exactly how you should feel, because you acted like a stupid fool headed straight to hell. Now, thank you for allowing me to say these rough things to you this morning. I know you don't care, but I gave them to you anyway. That was my job. And so until next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying bye-bye.